There are exactly 20 days, 23 hours, and 50 minutes until the season kicks off. No, I'm fine. Why'd you ask? What's up, everybody? Well, it is Thursday, so it's time for another video. This week, we got the power rankings. And so I'm going to do a little bit of talking. So if you don't really want to listen to that, you can skip to this point right here. Or if you don't really want to listen to the commentary on the power rankings at all, you can skip to right here. But anyway, I'm going to just straighten some things out real quick. So first of all, we got a new background. That's awesome. Secondly, YouTube put out some guidelines for streaming that this channel did not meet. So until at least October, this channel or this series will be no live streaming. It will simply be video format. So if these videos do well in video format, we'll just keep it in video format. And who knows? Maybe we'll see how things go from there. But let's get right into the power rankings. So this is our power rankings. As you can see right here, we've got all of this set up. And, well, let's get right into it. We're not going to go like number 32 to number 31. We're just going to take the teams on the tier list, put them into a category, and kind of rank them like that because I like to keep things different on this channel. So, LA Rams. You know, a lot of teams are high on this team this offseason. I personally am not that much of a fan of this team. I think they're just good but not great. I don't think they're a top 10 team like a lot of people seem to think they are. So for now, I'm just going to have to leave them in good but not great. I think they've got good talent on that team, but I just don't think they're elite. Cincinnati Bengals. Now, I think this is a team that a lot of people are sleeping on this offseason, mostly because of the contract disputes that have been happening. But I think the Bengals are actually a borderline elite team. Now, they're not perfect. We know that. They have some struggles on defense that they need to figure out. But when this team is healthy, and if they can have their defense be mostly competent, they are a force to be reckoned with. And let's just hope they can get off to a fast start, or else things are going to go really bad again. Seahawks. This is another good but not great team, but I think they're actually better than the Rams are. I think they're actually better than the Rams. And I think the reason for that is they're a well coached team. They've stayed good even after Pete Carroll's retirement. And while they haven't been like a super team per se, they've been very consistent and they've been able to adapt with new players. Like they're getting Sam Darnold under center this year, and I think he might do pretty well as long as the offensive line holds up. And I think it will. So for that reason, I think this team could be really good this year. But that's a hot take for me. Atlanta Falcons. This is a good but not great team. They're definitely not better than either the Rams or the Seahawks, that's for sure. I think the Falcons have a lot of talent, that's for sure. The big question is, can they actually put it all together for once? We've kind of just been asking them to do that for years, and it hasn't happened. And so we're kind of just going into the season, and it seems like most people have just kind of given up on Atlanta. Like, if Michael Penix works, great. But if not, no one's really surprised either. New York Giants. They are tanking. I'm sorry. Their situation at QB is horrible. It's horrible. So I don't think that this team is genuinely going to contend for a Super Bowl this year or even come close to winning anything, especially with their schedule. Baltimore Ravens, yeah, they're a top 5 team. The Baltimore Ravens have been a playoff contender and a Super Bowl contender for years. Lamar Jackson is a top 3 QB in the game, and that is not changing anytime soon. And as long as Jackson is there, this team is going to contend for a Super Bowl. New York Jets, bad. They're not like tanking bad, and they're a little better than their New Jersey counterpart, the Giants, but not by much. I think Justin Fields has potential, but the Jets is not the best place for him to revive his career. Also, he almost had a season-ending injury, which could have been really bad. But it was all right for the Jets, and it's just going to be another year of the Jets just figuring out who they are, so to speak. And it's the first year with Aaron Glenn, and I hope he does well as a head coach, but this is going to be a mixed year for the Jets at best. Cleveland Browns tanking. There, I don't think I've ever seen a more bizarre QB situation than what the Browns have going on. I think they're better than the Giants. I'll give them credit for that. But the Giants are not a good team. Heck, they're a really bad team. So being better than them is really nothing to be proud of. And yes, the Browns have good players like Miles Garrett and Miles Garrett 2.0, Like, who do they got on that offense? Like, for real. Like, it's not like Shador Sanders is going to get any help. He's going to get destroyed. Las Vegas Raiders. Good, but not great. Now, actually, I think the Raiders are probably better than Atlanta. I'll give them credit for that. And the Raiders are a good team on paper this year. Like, they have Brock Bowers and they have Ashton Genty, who are both actually good weapons. Listen to that, Browns. And I think that this year, if Genty and Bowers can play really, really well, then this team has actually got a shot of playing for a playoff spot, like I had them getting into a playoff spot in my season predictions video. And I think this team could actually be really, really good if they can get all the pieces to work together in their favor. Miami Dolphins, mid. I'm going to love saying that for all the mid teams. But Miami is just a genuinely mediocre team. They just traded away Jalen Ramsey for Minka Fitzpatrick, which I guess is kind of cool that he gets to come back to the team that he got drafted to. But genuinely, that trade was just so weird, and it's just two mid teams doing mid team stuff. And I don't really know what to say to that. It's just mid teams, I guess. And the Dolphins are mid because they're good at first. Their offense is always explosive at the start of the season, and then they always collapse in December. And we just expect that from them at this point. So they can't really be any better than mid unless they can get over the cold. New England Patriots. Now, the Patriots are a bad team. They're better than the Jets, but they're still a bad team. And the Patriots, they got a new head coach this year, and I like Mike Vrabel. I'm around a bunch of Titans fans all the time, so I like Mike Vrabel. But the Vrabel situation is cool, and I like Mike Vrabel, but it's his first year, and because of that, there's going to be some growing pains with him and the team as a whole. So this is not going to be a great year. We're going to see how washed Stephon Diggs actually is, and then we can kind of evaluate the wide receiver situation after that. Kansas City Chiefs top 5. They're better than Baltimore. Sorry, Baltimore, it's just true. KC has been a top 5 team for literally each of the past 6 years. Heck, they've been a top 5 team for what feels like a decade at this point. And the reason for that is they're well coached. Mahomes is still one of the best QBs, even though we really don't want to admit it. And they're just always going to be a threat in this league, no matter what. I know they had a bad Super Bowl, but I don't expect anything less than a top 5 team this year. New Orleans Saints. Yeah, they're tanking. And I think they're genuinely the worst team in the NFL right now, especially after Derek Carr's retirement. Like, they're literally having Spencer Rattler and Tyler Shuck battle for QB1. And I like Spencer Rattler, I like his story, but he's not a good starter at the NFL level. And unless he surprises everybody this year and makes a big jump, the Saints are just going to be tanking for Arch Manning, which will be a fun story, admittedly. Washington Commanders, borderline elite, and I think they're better than the Bengals. And I think the Commanders are a really good team as long as Jaden Daniels is under center. And for this video, I'm going to assume he stays healthy. I think most people just assume that most players stay healthy. But I think for the Commanders, if Jaden Daniels is their quarterback, they're going to have a shot. And they had a really good offseason, too. They brought in Deebo Samuel. They brought in Laramie Tunsil, who are both have experience and can help out this young core. This team has nowhere to go but up. Ugh, the Green Bay Packers. As a Lions fan, I hate it, but I have to put them in borderline elite. Are they better than Washington or are they better than the Bengals? I mean, they're definitely better than Cincinnati, but I don't think they're better than Washington. But the Packers are really good, and they got to host a draft and all, which was nice for them. They got Matthew Golden for the first time in 23 years. But anyway, I think the Packers had a really good offseason, and they're probably going to be the biggest competition to Detroit in the NFC North this year. Like, the Vikings kind of have a interesting quarterback situation going on with JJ McCarthy, and the Bears are the Bears. So I don't think that either of those teams are going to give the Lions any trouble. The Packers are really the only team that gives the Lions like somewhat trouble this year, in my opinion. Denver Broncos. Now, I'm not as high on this team as I originally thought I was. I think their schedule this year is somewhat difficult. They play in a really tough NFC West, or AFC West, my bad, and I think they're going to lose most of those games. I think the Raiders and Chargers are both better than Denver on paper. And because of that, I think they're going to struggle with their divisional opponents. and because of that, I think they max out at a good but not great team. Philadelphia Eagles, top 5. I think they're the best team in football, actually, but that's just me. Gotta move these teams behind them. But realistically, the Eagles are, in my opinion, the best team in the NFL coming off of their Super Bowl win. And realistically, why wouldn't they be? They lost basically nobody in free agency. Like, I guess you could say they lost a few people, but come on. They re signed a bunch of their key players. Their main core is still together. And for that alone, they're probably the best team in the entire NFC, and it's not really that close. Carolina Panthers. I mean, I'd like to say that they're good but not great. I mean, I know that they haven't really proved that they're a good but not great team, but Bryce Young showed a lot of development at the end of last season, which is the main reason I give Carolina such a high rating. I'm going to have to put them at the bottom of that good but not great tier because they really haven't shown anything to prove that they're a good but not great team. But if Bryce Young can continue to develop and really the whole team can continue to develop, this team should be set up for success this year. Let's see. Indianapolis Colts. Mid. Man, that was probably so loud in the microphone. But this is a genuinely mediocre team. And they're probably going to be actually really bad by the end of this year. So, for the sake of this, I'm actually just going to put them at the top of bad. And the reason for that is because this team's quarterback situation is atrocious. Like, they literally have Daniel Jones going up against Anthony Richardson. And Anthony Richardson was good at first. Like, he had some flashes in his rookie year, but he hasn't been the same ever since his season ending injury. And because of that, it looks like Indianapolis is going to have to go back into the QB carousel next year, which is sad because I want to see this team get back to their glory days, but they're just stuck in mediocrity. Chicago Bears, mid. Like, come on, they are mid. They haven't shown anything over the last few years to actually prove that they are legitimate. They had another good offseason for like the 40th year in a row, and it really doesn't mean anything if they can't do anything in the regular season. I have to believe it before I can see it. Arizona Cardinals, mid. I think they're better than Chicago, but I don't think they're better than Miami. They haven't really proven to me that they can get it done. Like, Marvin Harrison had an okay rookie year, but he needs to step up this year if they want to be a legitimate playoff contender. And I like Kyler Murray, but he seriously needs to take a step into the higher level of QBs, which he has not done yet. Oh my gosh, we're just racketing up these mid teams. You got the Steelers, who are mid. Oh my gosh, this team. Every year they find a way to get to 9-8, and they just don't deserve it. Like, this is another team. They're going into this year with Aaron Rodgers as their QB, the most washed up QB in the whole league. And I hate to sound negative for all these teams, but genuinely, these teams are not good. They're not in a good situation. Like, it seems like the Steelers are trying to contend by bringing in all these past their prime players. Like, they brought in Aaron Rodgers, they brought in Jalen Ramsey, and they brought in DK Metcalf. And I'm not sure if DK Metcalf is past his prime. They replaced Pickens with Metcalf, and I don't think that's a good trade off. I think Pickens was a much better receiver than Metcalf. Buffalo Bills, top 5. Like, literally, who's asking at this point? The Bills are just a really good team. We're just waiting for them to finally get over the hump. Can you just beat KC already? I'll put you over KC. You'll get to your Super Bowl. Please, Houston Texans, borderline elite. Actually, I think they're better than Cincinnati. But I think the Houston Texans are really good, but the one thing they're lacking is an offensive line. If they can get an offensive line, maybe CJ Stroud won't get killed back there this season. Hey, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Jacksonville Jaguars, bad. This is not a good team. Like, Trevor Lawrence is Trevor Lawrence. Let's just go with that. Like, he's up and down throughout his whole career. 2022, he was really good. We thought he was going to be like really, really good quarterback. And then we thought the next year that, he was just doomed. And then this year it was a little more of the same. So he's kind of gone from good to bad over the last couple of years. And it's kind of sad, but at the same time, they had their time in the spotlight, and now the Texans took it from them because they wasted their opportunity. Minnesota Vikings. I'm gonna put them at the very top of good but not great. The Vikings were very dominant last year. Very dominant. but it's kind of a transition year between Darnold and McCarthy now, as Sam Darnold has now left for Seattle, who is actually right below them. And I think now it's time for McCarthy to prove, is he a good quarterback, or do the Vikings need to go back into the QB carousel again? And this is going to be a big year for McCarthy and the Vikings, as they're trying to keep in the race in the NFC North. San Francisco 49ers, mid. I think they're a little better than Pittsburgh, actually. But the 49ers, the main reason they're mid is because they didn't play well last year. And I think actually with their schedule, they could be really good. But as it stands right now, they are a mediocre team, fresh off of a really bad offseason and the stain of last year. Dallas Cowboys. I'm actually gonna put them in good but not great. They're a little better than Carolina. And the reason that Dallas gets put in good but not great is because for once, Jerry Jones did something well, and that is trade for a big name player. Yes, they have the whole Micah Parsons thing, but at least they went out and got somebody, and that somebody is George Pickens, who will at least help CeeDee Lamb get more open. Los Angeles Chargers. Good, but not great. The Chargers are a pretty good team. I have them in between the Raiders and the Rams. The reason I think the Chargers are a good but not great team is they're pretty solid in the regular season. They're consistently playoff contenders, but they've never quite delivered in the postseason. Herbert is now if man of the QBs, and that's not really an affectionate nickname to put it lightly. So, for that reason, I'm just going to have to put the Chargers in good but not great. Detroit Lions, top five. They're better than Baltimore, but not as good as Buffalo. Now, the Lions' offseason was okay. It wasn't great. It wasn't bad, but it was just okay. We got a little bit better in the defensive line. We made a nice splash to upgrade the secondary by getting DJ Reed. But other than that, there wasn't really that much that really made a splash in the offseason. And with Ragnow leaving, which was the big thing that happened this offseason, the Lions have some question marks on O line and on the coordinator side of things. But the Lions are still a really good team. They've been really good for 2 seasons now, and that probably isn't going to change anytime soon. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, borderline elite. I think the reason Tampa Bay falls into borderline elite is just because they've been the best team in the NFC South for so long. They've managed to stay on top of the division even with the GOAT leaving 2 years ago. And I think they have a little more competition in that division this year. The Falcons and Panthers will both be much improved this year. But I still think this is the Bucks division to lose. I mean, I have them losing the division in my rankings, but this is besides the point. Tennessee Titans, bad. I'll put them right above Jaguars. But the Titans are a bad team. Cam Ward is not immediately going to make this team that much better. He's not a generational prospect like Jaden Daniels was. And for this year, I think the Titans just need Cameron Ward to be good. And if they can make sure that Cameron Ward is their guy, then this season will be a win for them. Let's simplify it for you as best as we can. 32 Saints, 31 Giants, 30 Browns, 29 Jaguars, 28 Titans, 27 Jets, 26 Patriots, 25 Colts, 24 Steelers, 23 Bears, 22 49ers, 21 Cardinals, 20 Dolphins, 19 Panthers, 18 Cowboys, 17 Broncos, 16 Falcons, 15 Raiders, 14 Chargers, 13 Rams, 12 Seahawks, 11 Vikings, 10 Packers, 9 Texans, 8 Bengals, 7 Buccaneers, 6 Commanders, 5 Ravens, 4 Lions, 3 Bills, 2 Chiefs, and 1 Eagles. Well, that's a lot. Thank you for watching to the end. Thank you for watching this video. Jesus loves you. Have a blessed day. And with that, peace!